Bao Island Storyteller, Journey to the West. Hey kids, welcome to Bao Island. On Bao Island, every story has a taste. Today's taste is warm mineral sweetness rising from the earth. This episode, we're in Ruisui and the Fengbin coast. Today's story, the ginseng fruit.
Welcome back to the Bao Island bus, everyone. Today I've driven us south through the East Rift Valley to Ruisui Township, where the valley widens out and you can see the coastal mountain range on one side and the central range on the other. We're parked by the Tropic of Cancer monument.
Looking around, the Tropic of Cancer runs right through here. There's this big stone arch marking the exact line, 23.5 degrees north. Everything south of us is the tropics. Everything north is the subtropics. We're standing on the boundary.
Ruisui is a place of boundaries. The rift valley between two mountain ranges. The tropics meeting the subtropics. Fresh dairy farms next to hot springs. And if you drive just a short way east, you reach the Fengbin coast, where the mountains suddenly drop into the Pacific Ocean.
The dairy farms here produce some of the best milk in Taiwan. The cows graze on grass fed by clean mountain water, cool nights keep the milk sweet, and the whole valley smells faintly of green grass and warm earth.
And the hot springs. Ruisui has sodium bicarbonate hot springs, clear, slightly alkaline, no sulfur smell. People come from all over Taiwan to soak in them.
Hot springs and dairy farms and a line in the earth dividing the tropics from the subtropics. Today's story is about a garden with the rarest fruit in the world. Everything here is about what grows when you give it time. There's something here, something you can only taste on Bao Island, where the earth itself is warm, and the minerals from deep underground rise through everything that grows.
Excited, what is it? Tell me, tell me.
Take a guess.
Mouth full, let me take a bite first. Enthusiastically, I have the hot spring egg custard. From a little shop right next to the hot spring park.
A custard made with hot spring water?
Yes. They cook the eggs low and slow using the naturally heated mineral water from the Ruisui hot springs. The water is about 90 degrees, not boiling, so the egg cooks gently over a long time. The result is this impossibly silky custard. The egg white is just barely set, trembling when you touch it, and the yolk is rich and creamy, almost like a warm sauce. Then they layer it with a light dashi broth.
The hot spring water gives it a quality you can't replicate in a normal kitchen.
There's this subtle mineral sweetness underneath everything, not a flavor you can name exactly, but you feel it. The egg tastes softer, rounder, more complete than any egg I've ever had. Like the earth itself seasoned it.
Cooked by the earth. You have to be here to taste it.
Mouth full, paying attention and also very hungry. Okay, tell me about the fruit.
The pilgrims were traveling through what the book calls Wanshou Mountain, 10,000 Longevity Mountain. A place of ancient power, clean air, and unusual plants. They came to a Taoist temple called Five Grain Temple, set back in the forest.
A Taoist temple on a mountain. Sounds peaceful.
The host of the temple was a Taoist immortal named Jinyuan Xian, which means true origin immortal. He had been alive for an almost incomprehensible amount of time. Longer than mountains. Longer than dynasties. He was a close friend of the heavens themselves, on first-name terms with the Jade Emperor, with the Tathagata Buddha.
That's a powerful host.
The thing that made him especially famous was in his back garden. A tree.
Intrigued, the ginseng fruit tree?
One tree. growing alone in the center of the garden. Ancient beyond measuring. The tree bloomed once every 3,000 years. It took 3,000 years after that to set fruit. And after 3,000 more years, the fruit ripened. Total, 9,000 years just to get one harvest.
Softly, 9,000 years per harvest.
Each harvest produced 30 fruits. And each fruit was shaped exactly like a newborn human baby. 3 inches tall, complete in every feature: nose, eyes, fingers, toes. Perfectly formed.
Stunned, the fruit looks like a baby?
A newborn baby, curled up, 3 inches long. Hanging from the branches like fruit.
That is extremely alarming.
I would not eat that. I would not eat a baby-shaped fruit.
If someone who had the right spiritual qualities held one, it was said, the scent alone, just smelling it from outside the garden walls, would keep you young for 360 years. Eating one would give you 47,000 years of life.
In complete conflict, 47,000 years of life. From a baby fruit. That is extraordinary and deeply unsettling.
Zhen Yuanxian was a generous host. He told his students, the Tang monk is passing through. He is a good person, an old friend in spirit, even if we've never met. Pick 2 of the ginseng fruits and offer them to him. He paused. But I have been summoned to heaven for a lecture. I need to leave. I'm trusting you, my students, to welcome the guests properly. And he departed.
He just left his students in charge?
His 2 students were young and enthusiastic. They went into the garden, found the tree, and carefully knocked down 2 of the fruits using a golden rod. The fruits fell into a jade bowl.
They had a special bowl to catch them. If they touched the ground, they'd disappear.
Right. They brought the 2 fruits to Tang Monk's room. Tang Monk looked at the fruits. And immediately turned pale.
Laughing, he thought they were babies.
He pushed the bowl away. I cannot eat this. These look like newborn children. I am a monk, I cannot eat a baby. No matter how his students explained that they were fruit, Tang Monk wouldn't touch them. He refused completely and sent the students away.
The host's gift, rejected. Because it looked too realistic.
Good intentions, wrong presentation. Let's drive east for a bit, over the coastal range and down to the Fengbin coast.
The road climbs through the mountains and then suddenly the Pacific is right there. The whole ocean, enormous and blue, and the mountains just drop straight into it.
The Fengbin coast is one of the most dramatic stretches of coastline in Taiwan. The coastal mountain range meets the ocean with almost no flat ground in between. The road was carved into the cliffs, and in some places you're driving along ledges that feel like balconies over the sea.
The rock formations down below are incredible. Columns and arches shaped by the waves, all this volcanic stone being sculpted by the Pacific, one typhoon at a time.
The indigenous Amos people have lived along this coast for centuries. Their fishing techniques, their ceremonies tied to the ocean seasons, their stone architecture, it's all shaped by this exact stretch of sea and cliff.
There are tiny fishing harbors tucked into every cove. You can see the boats pulled up on the rocks.
Art made by the ocean's patience. Nothing wasted. Everything transformed.
I love that. The waves do the carving. The fishermen do the waiting. The coast does the rest.
Nothing completely wasted. Everything transformed. The students whispered to each other, the monk wouldn't eat them. What do we do with 2 perfectly ripe ginseng fruits? They won't keep.
Conspiratorially, eat them yourselves?
Exactly. They went to a private corner of the garden and ate the two fruits themselves. The taste was, the book says, so extraordinary that language couldn't really capture it. Sweet, fragrant, melting, energizing. Nothing like it in the known world.
Meanwhile, where was Wukong?
Wukong had been nearby when the students whispered to each other about what the fruits were. He heard, ginseng fruit. He heard, 47,000 years of life. He heard, the tree is in the back garden. And something in his brain activated.
Covering her face, oh no.
He waited until the students were out of sight. Then he transformed into a bee, tiny, silent, efficient, flew over the garden wall, and landed in the branches of the tree.
Pained, he's going to steal the fruit.
He used his golden rod, knocked one down into his jade cup that he'd brought along very prepared, and flew out. He landed, transformed back, and called Pigsy and Sandy over. Look what I found. Have some.
Did Pigsy hesitate?
Pigsy's fruit disappeared in one gulp. He looked down at his empty hands and said, "It's already gone." What did it taste like? I barely noticed.
Laughing, he ate it so fast he didn't even taste it.
Sandy said, "I tasted something. It was. I don't have words. Sweet? But also something else? Like the number of years you've lived just added itself up and felt comfortable?"
That is surprisingly poetic for Sandy.
I have the Ruisui fresh milk ice cream.
The most famous dairy product in eastern Taiwan.
Enthusiastically, Ruisui is famous for its fresh milk because the East Rift Valley has excellent dairy farming, cool nights, clean mountain water, good grass. The cows here produce milk that's incredibly rich and sweet. And the ice cream they make from it is not overcomplicated at all. Just fresh cream, milk, a little sugar, churned perfectly.
Simple ingredients.
The simplest. But the milk is everything. It tastes like milk the way milk should taste, rich and cold and just sweet enough. There's no artificial vanilla smell, no cloying sugar. Just the clean, direct taste of milk from a cow that was standing in that field this morning. You could honestly eat this with nothing and it would be enough.
Good cows make good milk, make good ice cream. The dairy cooperative here has been running since the Japanese colonial era.
And honestly, the cream is so smooth, it melts on your tongue slowly, leaving this gentle sweetness that keeps going and going. Every lick is the same and every lick is perfect.
Like the valley itself. Like the ginseng tree's fruit.
Mouth full, contentedly, exactly.
The problem was that one fruit wasn't quite enough for Pigsy. He had eaten it so fast the flavor was almost theoretical. He said, "There's a whole tree back there. 47,000 years of life per fruit. We only had one each. We should probably have some more."
Already dreading this, Wukong should have said no.
Wukong considered this suggestion. He looked at the garden wall. He thought about the tree. He thought about 47,000 years. And he said, "You know what? Fine."
Groaning, Wukong should not have said fine.
The three of them went back over the garden wall. Wukong used his rod to knock down more fruit, but this time, Pigsy grabbed the rod enthusiastically and said, "Let me do it." And he started shaking the whole tree.
Oh no.
The tree responded very badly to being shaken. The book explains, ginseng fruit is essentially a kind of living treasure with elemental connections. It fears fire, metal, water, and wood. One of the things it fears is earth, the essence of solid ground. And Pigsy, former heavenly commander of the heavenly rafts, had a natural earth quality to his energy. When he grabbed the tree and shook it,
What happened?
every single fruit on the tree dropped, plummeted, hit the earth, and vanished. Every last one.
All of them?
23 remaining fruits. All gone. Into the ground.
Horrified, they destroyed the ginseng fruit tree's entire harvest. The harvest that took 9,000 years to produce.
Pigsy, once again, doing things very quickly without adequate consideration.
At that exact moment, as if the universe had arranged it, they heard the temple gates open. Jin Yuan Xian had returned from heaven.
Very quiet, oh no.
His students rushed out to greet him, excited to tell him about the Tang monk's visit. They mentioned the ginseng fruits. Jin Yuan Xian's expression changed. He walked slowly to the back garden. He stood under the tree. He looked up. He counted. He looked at the ground. He looked at the ground again.
Softly, this is going to be bad.
He walked back inside, very calmly, and asked his students, "Where exactly are our guests at this moment?" The students said they were probably getting ready to leave. Jin Yuan Xian nodded slowly. "Get them," he said. "Bring them here. Now."
The calm voice is the scariest voice.
Much scarier than shouting.
The man has lived for tens of thousands of years. He knows how to be patient when he's angry.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Here's what makes this chapter something more than just a theft story. The ginseng fruit tree is extraordinary not because it gives you years of life, but because of what those years represent. 9,000 years to produce one fruit. It exists outside normal time.
And Wukong and the others just used it up. In an afternoon.
Because they could. Because the opportunity was there and they took it without asking, "What is this? What is it for? What are the consequences?"
The fruit was real. The opportunity was real. The consequences were also real.
Jin Yuan Xian isn't just angry because his fruit was taken. He's grieving a little for something that cannot be replaced quickly. 9,000 years is not a short wait.
Quietly, and they ate it because it was just there. Within reach. And it seemed harmless.
The most dangerous kind of harm is the kind that seems harmless at the time.
And on that note, we should keep moving.
Today we stood on the Tropic of Cancer in Ruisui, the boundary between the tropics and the subtropics, and drove east to the dramatic Fengbin coast where the mountains drop into the Pacific. We had hot spring egg custard, silky and warm from the Earth's own heat, and Ruisui fresh milk ice cream, clean and cold from the valley's finest dairy cows. And we followed Sun Wukong as he discovered the ginseng fruit tree, stole 3 fruits for himself and his friends, let Pigsy shake down the whole tree, and watched 23 priceless fruits disappear into the earth just as the owner came home.
They are in so much trouble.
They really are. Next time we head south to Fuli, the daylily fields of Lieshodan Mountain, golden flowers covering the hills as far as you can see. We'll have daylily stir-fry in the famous Chishan lunchbox. And the story, Jin Yuan Xian is furious. He traps the pilgrims using only his sleeve. Sun Wukong escapes by transforming, breaks free 3 times, but none of his attempts to fix the tree succeed. Until he asks the one person who might know how.
Guanine again?
Guanine again.
Nodding, the answer is always guanine.
Softly, some things take 9,000 years to grow, and one afternoon to understand. On Bao Island, stories grow up with you.